listen, when you look at it, you look at some of the players on the team, guys like Hurts and Dickerson and, now the Georgia guys, there's hype around programs they came from in college as soon as they set foot on campus, so they're kind of used to playing with expectations. Now, not everybody on the team, obviously, but, there's enough veterans still on this team, I think, and your Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson and Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, guys who know that, you don't win a Super Bowl in August. You have to build every day toward that. You have to stay within yourself, and you have to just keep growing each day and build that chemistry each day. And, I think there's enough veterans in here that, they understand what it takes, and they can kind of let these other guys know that we have to get better every single day. We can't look ahead to October or November.
You got your Mag guys here on Birds 365, McMullen and McDonald, and we are joined by a third who I thought about earlier today. I was watching the NFL Network prior to hopping on here on Birds 365, and they got off on a tangent about the biggest necked players in the NFL. And the first one came to mind for me was LeVar Arrington. You remember LeVar?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go to KO Spikes, though.
Spikes had a big neck. I went to Ed Kracz. I'm a big neck. That's on our show on Birds 365. Yeah. I'll put Ed Kracz with anybody else we have.
That's that wrestling training. He's doing those neck exercises. What do you call those, Ed? I can't think of it.
Well, you do your bridges, your back bridge, your front bridge. But you should have seen me with a football helmet on. It looked like I just had a helmet balancing on my shoulders. There was no neck. In fact, one of my coaches called me No Neck.
That's because no neck means big neck. Depends on what kind of picture you're taking.
That's a good thing when you're wrestling or playing football. So that's a positive for Ed Kracz.
I guess.
All right, Kracz, when you played, what position did you play?
I played D end and center.
Were you an overhang player?
You were quick off the snap?
I was never. I was. I thought I was. Back in my day, we ran a lot of option plays, so my job was always to hit the quarterback and let the linebacker flow to get to the running back, but never to stray from the quarterback. And even if he pitched the ball, take him down. And I loved doing that. I loved hitting quarterbacks, and still one of my favorite plays in the game.
That's what you got to be disciplined. You can't be freelancing, Ed Kracz.
Well, I freelanced one game and got put right onto the bench. Kracz! He pitched. I thought I was going to intercept the pitch. I saw it coming, and the quarterback faked and kept it and turned it inside for a big gain. And
yikes!
I was on the bench for a quarter or so.
Those quarterbacks are sneaky, man. That's why you got to be disciplined. Fundamentals.
He got me.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of those sneaky quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts. We talk about him all the time here. God bless Jalen. He's had a little break because Eagles made so many moves over the last since the draft and up to today that he's come somewhat out of the limelight. His ability to run the football, and I know we're talking about a different level NFL than the level that you start at, Ed Kracz, as your defensive end position allowed.
Yeah.
How much running is he going to do this year? We all assume the Eagles are going to try and pass the ball more. That's why they went out and got A.J. Brown. That's what the owner believes is the best way to win in the National Football League. But he is a weapon with his legs. Jalen Hurts is running, comes back to the pack this year. How much more, Ed Kracz?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it'll come back to the pack. What did he have last year? Like 760 yards?
He's the Eagles' leading rusher.
Yeah, he was. But I just don't think it's sustainable. I mean, and we even saw him get hurt, with the ankle injury that he suffered against, I think it was the Giants, and then he missed the following week game against the Jets, and then it really hampered him throughout the rest of the year, and he had surgery on it in the offseason. So, when you have a quarterback like Hurts or any quarterback that likes to run, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, another one, he got hurt this year. You have to be real careful when you take off in this league. And, that's not a way to sustain success if your quarterback's running the ball as much as Jalen did. Now, listen, he can still be a threat in the run game. He gives you that extra dimension to use his legs, but I would try to keep the collar on him as much as I could as far as taking off. And, when he leaves the pocket, make sure he's keeping his eyes downfield. I just don't see him running for, if you set a number, I would probably put it at 600 yards, the over under, maybe, 6.25. And I'd be surprised if he even hit that. So if he's running the ball, it's not a good thing for you.
Yeah. I think it's the plan to scale back, and we'll see if they can stick to the plan. But, one thing I've talked with you, I haven't mentioned it too much on the air, Ed, but I know I've talked to you about it. Jalen looks thinner to me. We saw him, pictured. We got to interview him once. We saw a bunch of pictures from the Eagles autism thing. Maybe it's me. I keep getting bigger. I got to get smaller. But I don't know.
Still don't have as big a neck as Kracz, McMullen. Yeah. Sorry, not close.
What do you think? I think he looks skinnier, and that to me is about. He talked about changing his off-season work, and not only was that working with Tom House and Adam Daydew and fundamentals and all that stuff, but also he mentioned the nutrition part of it. I don't know. Does he look skinnier to you?
Yeah, I think we both commented on that when we saw him back. I think it was May 4th when he talked to us, and I think we both kind of noticed that he looked a little bit thinner. And then we've seen the photos that came out of the Eagles Autism Challenge, and yeah, he does look a little bit thinner. What did he play at last year? About 220, I would
say somewhere in that range. Yeah,
it's not like he's skinny, but he does look thinner, maybe in better shape, maybe better conditioning. It'll be interesting once we finally see a practice, which I think is going to happen next week, how he looks in pads, and if he does look like he's filling them out a little bit more, and then hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him and ask him. But yeah, it looks like he has either gotten a few pounds lighter, or he's just rearranged his body structure a little bit in the way he worked out and prepared during the off season and with the nutrition stuff like you mentioned. But yeah, he does look like he took a few pounds off, no doubt.
All right, along those lines of Jalen look a little skinnier, there's another big comparison to be made between the two quarterbacks I'm going to mention, but there are also differences. My first year here in Philadelphia, doing shows on WIP and talking about the Eagles on basically a daily basis was 1990, which of course was Buddy Ryan's last year, and the quarterback was Randall Cunningham. Randall, like Jalen Hurts, could make plays with his legs that nobody else in the league could make. Now you got Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, who are, I think, above and beyond everybody else in the league. It's a 1-2 punch. Back then it was Randall, more so than anybody else. I guess you could put Steve Young in that mix, but I wouldn't. He was, until Michael Vick came along, there was no one else like Randall Cunningham. Could Jalen Hurts become Randall Cunningham too?
Well, you kind of hope not, because Randall really suffered some injuries there. And then, that knee injury that he suffered in Green Bay, I think that really robbed him of some speed. And Randall still wanted to play like he was, the running threat that he had been. And it just wasn't playing for him, and he struggled. And I think it wasn't until he went to Minnesota that he kind of realized, I can't be the same guy that I was. And he changed his game a little bit and had kind of an MVP type season with the Vikings. And, like I mentioned with Hurts, when you hurt your ankle like that and these injuries start to pile up, I mean, you can't be the same quarterback. Look at Carson Wentz. I mean, he wanted to be a mobile quarterback. They wanted him to pick up at least one first down with his legs every game. That's what Frank Reich said with Carson Wentz because of his mobility. But then once those injuries started to come into play, he just couldn't do that. All those traits were taken from him, I think, and he hasn't adjusted. He's been stubborn in kind of his evolution to becoming more of a pocket guy, more of a, keep the play alive and get rid of the ball type guy. He's been stubborn to change into that type of player. And I think that's one thing that has kind of held him back. So when you talk about Hurts, the Eagles have to impress upon him that, hey, we saw the ankle injury. It really impacted you the last month of the season. We don't want you freelancing as much with the football. We want you to get rid of the ball and live the fight another play. So I hope he doesn't take the same path as Cunningham. I've always been of the impression that, quarterbacks can hurt you with their feet, but you have to really make sure you're monitoring that and you're not doing it as frequently as Jalen did. I mean, sooner or later, that kind of play is going to catch up with you and you're going to get injured.
Yeah, and it was ironic he got injured in the pocket, not outside the pocket when he did get hurt. against the Giants. So you never know when it's going to happen. But the more you get hit, the more opportunities there
Right.
are to get hurt. So
Sure.
if we want to keep it in house, I would think Donovan is the template more than Randall Cunningham. So I would throw that to both of you guys because Donovan was mobile, but recognized pretty early in his career. Some people will argue to his detriment. I don't want to be thought of as a running quarterback. I want to be more of a passing quarterback, and he turned into a really, really good one, despite the fact that he never got over the hump. And some people will always hold that against him. I think he's the best quarterback in franchise history, at least in the Super Bowl era. Shouldn't Donovan be the template more than Randall Cunningham, who was just this weird, freakish athlete, lanky? Jalen doesn't have that size. He doesn't have that sort of trait skill set. But Donovan, they're both stocky, although Jalen has started to lose some weight. Donovan did that in his career as well. Isn't that sort of the template of where you want to go? Because Jalen Hurts turns into Donovan McNabb. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. It's interesting you bring up the best quarterback in Eagles history. I mean, that's a good debate for another time, maybe. But yeah, I think fans, if I remember right, got on Donovan for not running enough.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They wanted him to run more, but McNabb resisted. He wanted to be a pocket type quarterback, and he made some great plays from inside the pocket. Some of the greatest highlights of Donovan are escaping pressure and throwing the ball downfield. I guess it was on that Monday night game against the Cowboys where he ran right, ran left, ducked under guys, and threw a deep ball to I can't even remember who. It couldn't have been anybody good because he didn't have too many good receivers when he played, except Terrell Owens. But yeah, I mean that's a good comparison. I mean, if you can be a McNabb type, but I think Jalen does like to use his legs. I mean, he's a guy that used his legs more than Donovan did at Syracuse. And I think that will always be some part of Jalen's game. You just don't want it to be the main part of his game, right? You want him to just run the ball when he sees an opportunity. You don't want to be calling these read option plays where he sweeps left too often during a game. And but Donovan was a guy that liked to stay home and try to make his plays from inside the pocket, and he did a good job at that. I don't know if Hurts will ever have that same mindset that he doesn't want to run, because I think it'll always be a part of his game. But yeah, if he could be McNabb, that'd be great. And McNabb was one of the best. I'm not going to say he was the best, but I think he was one of the best quarterbacks in Eagles history.
Yeah, I'll stick by my comparison of Hurts to Cunningham more than Hurts to McNabb. Because you're right, McNabb could run, but McNabb didn't want to run. Right. I think McNabb did it purely out of, all right, we're screwed, I need to take off. I think he was always looking for a way to stay in the pocket longer. Oh, no, Randall wanted to take off. And last year, in his first year as a starting quarterback, it looked like to me that the quarterback wanted to take off, that was his more than just default mode, that was his borderline preferred mode. That's why I compare those two. I know what you're saying about McNabb, Johnny Mac, but I think more of Randall than I do McNabb. And oh, by the way, last year, he rushed for more yards in his first season as Eagles starting quarterback than McNabb ever did. So we'll see how it shakes out this year. A.J. Brown's addition to the Eagles certainly should be the main reason why Jalen Hurts throws the ball more this year than he did last year. Is there any worry that he will try and force the ball to A.J. Brown this year, because they've got a good relationship? He's established himself in the NFL. We believe Devontae Smith will, but has had bigger years than Devontae Smith ever has. Any worries for you, Ed Kracz, that this new combo of Hurts to Jones is something that might be overdone by the Eagles this year?
Well, I hope not. Yeah, Brown will make his share of plays, but you have some other playmakers. Everybody talks about Brown and Smith, and Dallas Goedert's sitting there too, and he needs his share of targets. So you don't want to get too locked in on one guy. Now, it was interesting last year when you saw the Eagles target Devontae Smith like 4 straight plays in some games, where they just threw him the ball 4 straight times. I mean, they like to get guys going, get them started, and maybe you could see them doing that with A.J. Brown, get him involved early, but you can't become locked in on one guy. You have to take what the offense is designed to give you and what the defense gives you. And Jalen, I'm sure he's smart enough to know that A.J. Brown's not the only weapon here. I got Devontae that's going to need the ball. I got Miles Sanders or Kenny Gainwell out of the backfield. You have Dallas Goedert. You have Quez Watkins, who, was targeted 60-some times last year, third highest number of targets on the team. I mean, you have other weapons in play, and it's only going to make you a better team if you learn how to use all these weapons in a game. You just can't lock in on A.J. Brown. You hope that doesn't happen. They are good friends. You want to keep A.J. Brown happy. He's the guy making $100 million. But, as a play caller and Nick Sirianni, you have to make sure you're getting other guys involved, and you have to make sure Jalen knows that he has to get other guys involved.
Let's talk about, Ed, the expectations of this team, because I think all of a sudden we've turned a corner to where they've exploded. We got Peter King calling them a top 10 team, fourth best in the NFC. The good people at Bet Online sent me the MVP odds yesterday. Jalen Hurts was 66-1 on March 14th to be the MVP of this league. Yesterday, he's 18-1. 18-1. Here are the players ahead of him, by the way. Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. And then it's Jalen Hurts. Are people skipping steps here? What the heck is going on here? Are you kidding me? Aaron Rodgers is 14-1. How many times has the guy done it? He's back-to-back MVP. What is going on, Ed Kracz?
Listen, Jody could probably speak to the Vegas odds better than I could, but I think it's a testament to what the Eagles have put around Hurts, A.J. Brown included. It's not just all the quarterback. Now, in Aaron Rodgers' case, who does he have after losing two top receivers?
I'm going to bet on that. If I want to win the bet, now obviously people are looking for value, and Jody can talk to this, and there's more value. But at 66-1, yeah, all right, I'll go. Hey, you never know. At 16-1, well, I'm just losing money at that point. I don't want to go that route. If I just want to win the bet, I'm going to bet on Aaron stinking Rodgers. I mean, but you're not going to win much money. But I don't get these overblown expectations. I guess
John, what's the number on Rodgers that you have?
14-1.
That's not a bad number.
Yeah, that's a great number.
That? Ed's right. The difference in the movement in the numbers is because the Eagles have done a good job in adding, while the Packers have done a good job in subtracting talent and weapons around Rodgers. So that's why those two numbers are that close. Yeah, you're right, John. One's Aaron Rodgers and the other one's Jalen Hurts. Come on. They've had a little bit of a difference in what their resume looks like. Rodgers is your 2 times defending MVP champion. How can those numbers be that close? Yes, you do look for value when you make wagers, but I think there is value in Aaron Rodgers, even down Devontae Adams at 14-1.
Yeah. And by the way, the Super Bowl quarterback, Matthew Stafford, behind Jalen Hurts at 20-1.
Yeah,
20-1. That just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
I know we speak to the Eagle fans here every day on Birds 365. Guys, feel free to root. Don't feel free to bet. If you want to back your Eagles, that's cool. I would not put my hard-earned money on that if I were you.
Yeah. In a football sense, though, guys, that's these expectations do creep into the building, and more than those odds, even. Because Peter, carries some weight, for instance. And I'm sitting there and going, all right, his top 8, what's the difference? It's all I just kind of mentioned. It's all those quarterbacks that are ahead of Jalen Hurts, the Joe Burrows, the Justin Herberts of the world, on the NFC, the Rodgers, the Bradys.
Which, oh, by the way, Justin Herbert, I believe, is behind the Eagles. The Chargers behind the Eagles on Peter King's ranking.
Yeah, which is crazy talk. A lot of people think the Chargers are going to make a run. I'm wondering, but the AFC's tougher, so you can factor that in. I'm just wondering how the team handles it, because all of a sudden they've gone from and really, it's from day one of the draft, Ed. Before that, everyone was like, oh, what are they doing? They haven't added this. They need this. They need that. They need that. And ever since the draft and how he pulled up Jordan Davis and A.J. Brown, he was able to get James Bradbury. These are all tremendous, tremendous moves, by the way. I'm not saying don't be excited about it, but all of a sudden, we've gone from, as I like to say, we're not ready. All those people, you heard it. We can't do this. We can't go get this because we're not ready to win right now. Now it's the opposite. And I think people are skipping steps. I use that term all the time. Do you think some people are skipping steps and that could affect the team?
You mean people like Peter King skipping steps, having them ninth?
Well, just the hype. So,
yeah.
Players are not immune. Coaches are not immune to the hype. But I do think Peter's a little bit more credible than most.
Yeah. Well, listen, when you look at it, you look at some of the players on the team, guys like Hurts and Dickerson and, now the Georgia guys, there's hype around programs they came from in college as soon as they set foot on campus, so they're kind of used to playing with expectations. Now, not everybody on the team, obviously, but, there's enough veterans still on this team, I think, and you're Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson and Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, guys who know that, you don't win a Super Bowl in August. You have to build every day toward that. You have to stay within yourself and you have to just keep growing each day and build that chemistry each day. And, I think there's enough veterans in here that, they understand what it takes and they can kind of let these other guys know that we have to get better every single day. We can't look ahead to October or November. We have to stay focused. It's May. We have OTAs coming up. Then we have to do the right thing in that 6 or 7 weeks between the end of OTAs and training camp. And I don't know if it's necessarily skipping steps. I think that, this could be a top 10 team in a lot of people's eyes. But again, it's going to depend on Hurts and it's going to be dependent on the mindset that they approach each day with. And like I said, Kelsey and Johnson and Graham, these are valuable veterans in that locker room who know what it takes. And you have the guys from Bama, you have the guys from Georgia that have had expectations the minute they set foot on campus. And this is no different. Yeah, it's at a higher level on a bigger stage, but it's still the same expectation to win it all. And I don't think that's harmful at all for this team. I think they should be able to handle it, to be honest.
Eddie, let me follow up on John's expectations questions, but with a specific narrow focus. I know you guys got a chance to talk to Jonathan Gannon this week. And first year, Jonathan Gannon came under the microscope, came under the critique of Eagle Nation because the defense played the way that it did. The results were not near as bad as the way some people would describe the Eagle defense last year, but they weren't the prototypic defense that Eagle fans have been rooting for decades here in town. Not overly aggressive. They don't kill the quarterback, but effective just the same. The expectations are that much higher on the Eagles defense this year because of their offseason additions. I like Gannon. He seems like a cool cucumber. I like the way he handles himself in press briefings, and he did get 2 interviews this offseason for head coaching positions. How much pressure is on Jonathan Gannon as the defensive coordinator of this year's team?
A lot. Everybody talks about Jalen Hurts not having any excuses because the pieces are in place. It's the same with Jonathan Gannon. Howie Roseman delivered these weapons to his front door, including Hassan Reddick, who calls himself a weapon. And then you load this linebacker room, probably the deepest, most flexible group of linebackers that I've seen since I began covering the team in 2011 full time. It's just a great group, potentially great group of linebackers. So, I think there is a lot more pressure on Gannon, but I think that's okay. I think he knows what this defense can be. He has a better feel for it, and he has a better feel for calling games. Last year's defense was ranked 10th overall. Okay, that's not bad. You take a top 10 defense, but there were too many games where they were just out of it early. They came out and just didn't execute from the start. You look at the Chiefs game, you look at the Raiders game, the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas the first time around. Their defense came out and stunk early. Then they made a few adjustments, most of the time, but you have to come out as a defense now and set the tone early. And, he's got the pieces in place to do that. I'm pretty excited to see what he does with this defense. I mean, you look at that defensive line, and if you play a 5-man front, you've got Jordan Davis in the middle with Cox and Hargrave flanking him, and then who do you have as your overhang players? That's
the overhang, baby.
The overhang players. Those guys on the outside. You got Reddick, you have Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, if you want to go there. You have Kaiser White who can play there. You might put Nakobe Dean out there to use some of his speed. I mean, you've got so many options and so much flexibility that Gannon has to be able to take advantage of that. And there is pressure on him to do that, but he's a bright guy. He knows what he's doing. I think he'll do that. And I think he'll put these guys in the best possible position to make plays, like Andy Reid used to say,
Are the Eagles renting JG? Happy Tuesday to you, Ed. Are they renting JG?
Wait a minute. It's Thursday. It's happy.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Jonathan always says that when he comes out. But yeah, Howie Roseman thinks so. He said that we're only renting him, and could be the case. I mean, you're probably going to lose him at some point, but then you're going to have to find a guy, maybe a Denard Wilson, if he's still here, or somebody that can come in and execute the similar type defense that Gannon's going to put into place here. Again, the pieces are here now. And whoever the coach is, they have to be able to take advantage of these pieces. And you have to come out as soon as the game begins and play like it's the fourth quarter. You have to play with a sense of urgency. And that's something we didn't see this defense always do last year. It looked confused at times. It didn't look coordinated at times. And that's the coordinator's job. And he has to be able to do that from the minute that game begins, because they can't afford to fall behind and play catch up as often as they did last year and expect to win more than the 9 games they did in 2021. All
right, I'll ask you to look into your Gannon crystal ball here a little bit, Ed. Assuming health, which we do with every offseason question that we have, that a player is going to be healthy, a team's going to be healthy, and then you deal with the reality thereof. Nobody is all healthy at all times, but an individual player surely can be healthy throughout a season. Percentage of snap Jordan Davis plays this year for the Eagles at the DT position.
Fletcher Cox played 49% of the snaps as a rookie, and he was picked around that same neighborhood as Jordan Davis. I think if you can get 50 snaps a game out of Jordan Davis, that'd be a good thing. I'd be surprised if it's any more, but there were 2 different defensive coordinators when Cox came to town, and I know they really like Davis, and they like him all along that defensive line, in the middle, at the tackle spots. It's going to be very interesting to see how many snaps he gets, but I think 50% of the snaps would be a good benchmark for him. If they can play him, half the snaps in a game, then you're getting your money's worth out of your first round pick. And then you hope as the future, begins to unfold that number goes up.
Right.
All right, let's go to the front office, Ed Kracz, and Andy Weidel, the latest to leave for the Pittsburgh Steelers, assistant GM there. Jody and I were talking about it a little bit. So we have 5 pretty high profile, the top 3 scouts, essentially. Tom Donahoe, who is really important to this organization, has been in the past, and you lose Cat Raish as well. You look at each case individually and it makes some sense, but you look at it, you step back and you say, what the heck is going on here? You never see this kind of attrition in a front office unless the GM gets fired, and the GM hasn't been fired. The GM is there. The GM is entrenched. Is that the reason we're seeing so much movement, because of just how entrenched Howie Roseman is with Jeffrey Lurie?
Yeah, probably. I think, you did a great job breaking down what's going on inside that front office in an article you wrote. To me, I'm not a big front office guy. I'm not a big personnel who's running the show type guy. I mean, I prefer to focus on what's going on the field. But these guys are no doubt invaluable. And the frustrating thing is when you look at the last 2 drafts that the Eagles have had, I mean, I think they've been pretty good. As far as bringing in Yeah. And Roseman, it's not Roseman who identifies all that talent. It's the people that work under him, your Andy Weidels and your scouting staff. And that has to be strong to continue to have good off seasons. And they kind of work in the shadows, right? Roseman gets all the credit for everything that goes right and all the blame for things that go wrong. But there is that support staff. And when you lose, what is it, five or six key executives in the last 6 months, I mean, that's pretty significant. And you wrote in your story that maybe some whispers have begun to resurface about Howie Roseman kind of not getting along maybe with some of the people under him, or rubbing some people the wrong way. Maybe that's true. Remember how he went to the GM school when Chip Kelly took over for that year, and he came out of it a new man and was able to build relationships. Now, does he need to go back and learn those things again? I don't know.
Need a refresher course.
Refresher course. Is that where we're going?
Yeah. He might need a refresher course. I don't know, but it is a concern that you lose that much talent from your front office, even though people are like, hey, we got to hire more Howie type guys and, successful organizations. And let's face it, the Eagles have been that several playoff trips in the last few years. So, but there's more to it, it feels like, than just that. And now you have to wonder who's going to replace these guys, and are they going to be able to maintain this level of success of having pretty strong drafts like they've had the last couple of seasons. 2018, they had a good draft.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had good off seasons, and part of that is because of the support staff that is now gone. So, something to watch. And, if you haven't read John's story, Jody, whoever, I mean, does a good job of breaking all that down.
Exactly. All right. Last one for me, Eddie. And the question is for you, but I know John McMullen's going to chime in because he brags about the fact that he either wins or comes close to correctly projecting the Eagles 53-man roster.
I didn't brag about it. You bragged about it.
Oh, you absolutely have bragged about it. Come on. You runner-up 2 years running or 3 years running?
Roster, yeah.
Bo.
Well, I think Bo's cheating. I'm on that.
He actually wins, but Bo cheats.
Well, I was very credible.
Bo puts out fake roster news
when I won,
right before the season starts, and that's how McMullen loses.
Look, when I won, when I was the champion, I was very credible. I did things above board. There have been some questionable don't in the scorekeeping. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Now, Bo won. I'm joking. But I have been runner-up. I won once. I've been runner-up, I think, twice. But it's not as impressive as it sounds because a bunch of the new people, they never jump into the stinking pool. So it ends up being...
Yeah. I think I've been runner-up a time or two.
You were runner-up.
I've been in that runner-up category.
So it's three guys who went to the contest? Yeah. Ooh, I was runner-up.
No, it's
out of three.
It's about it's about 15. Okay. But it should be about what, 30? For how many people cover the stinking team. So
we'll try and get attendance up this year. All right, here's the question I have.
Yes.
Wide receiver position, Ed. I'm not even gonna. We don't have that much time left here to do the entire 53. One particular position that'd be wide receiver. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins. I'll even put Zach Pascal, the teacher's pet, in there as a given. So you got four givens at wide receiver.
Me blocked every day. This guy, teacher's pet.
The truth is what the truth is, right? What can I tell you? You got Reagor, you got Ward, even though people have been trying to run Reagor out of town. Because of that, I won't put him in the given category. Devon Allen, John Hightower's still here. Does anybody ever see John Hightower? Do you guys ever actually see him?
Haven't seen him.
He's on the Eagles roster, but I know he was here at one point as a member. I've seen him catch passes, but I think it's just a rumor here. I don't think they've officially erased his name from the roster, so that's why he's still there. I don't know if he's actually still showing up, but he is. The new guys, Josh Hammond and Wheatfall. How many wide receivers are going to make the Eagles 63? How many on the practice squad? How many, like John Hightower, will be nowhere to be found?
Well, I think you're going to see 6 wide receivers make this team.
6?
Yeah, I think 6 will make the 53.
You touched on
number. And they'll probably go a little light at running back, but I think 6. I mean, they've got 12 guys to pick from. I mean, you got to find, you got to at least half have to be able to contribute, and they need a guy that can return kicks. And I know Reagor's done it, not real well. I mean, but now you have Britton Covey. You didn't mention him. He's a guy that
I forgot Covey. My bad.
Yeah, he's got a live shot to make this team, I think, as does Devin Allen. But I'm not sure Devin Allen's, fully committed to football at this point. I think he still has,
that's
1.5 feet in the track world. And so I'm not sure, what his commitment level is going to be, if it's going to be enough. So, but Britton Covey certainly could.
All right, so you're at 6. Give me the 6, Kracz.
All right, well, you're 4, and I'm not going to call Pascal the teacher's pet because I think he's going to help this team. I really do.
Ed just doesn't want to get blocked. Come on.
I don't care. I don't care about being blocked. So
no, I don't either.
I teacher's pet to give. All right, he's number 4. Who are the other 2?
I'm going to go with Reagor, and I'm going to go with Covey.
Okay.
All right, Britton Covey.
Who you got? Since Kracz is throwing down the roster challenge.
Well,
you at 6, or are you at the same 6?
I'm trying to get Greg Ward on the team. I don't know if I can get Greg Ward on the team. It depends if they could move Jalen Reagor. The 6th one, I like Ed's prediction because they need a returner. So I think, Britton Covey or Devin Allen, but Devin Allen doesn't seem to be, as Ed said, all in just yet. I'm trying to think of the back end off the top of my head. Anybody else have a chance?
Josh Hammond, maybe. Maybe Josh Hammond can.
Yeah, I don't.
He's got a little bit of experience.
Remember, they have a 16-man practice squad. They made that official, so they're keeping the pandemic. So a bunch of these guys will be on the practice squad, and they can interchange them.
Is the practice squad going to be made up completely of receivers and cornerbacks?
It could be.
They've got about 26 guys between those 2 positions.
It could be
right now on the 90.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
I want to do something different than Ed, but no, I'm not. If Reagor's here, Reagor's going to be on the team, and I do think they need a returner, and Covey is the best one they have on this 90-man offseason roster.
Greg Ward loses out to the teacher's pet.
Well, that's the qualifier.
Some things are just an injustice in life. What can you do?
We haven't seen Covey play a single snap, and we're putting him on the roster. I mean, we don't know.
Oh, no, we saw rookie camp.
Let's throw that qualifier out there, man. It's like middle of May. We haven't seen a snap from Britton Covey or Devin Allen.
That's what it's about. It's about projection. He was a great returner in college. He looked really quick in rookie camp for the 10 minutes we saw him. So hey, let's jump down that rabbit hole. Britton Covey. I'm with you.
That's why I asked the question. Big Neck Kracz will be back with us soon enough, probably next week, if not the week after. You got any vacay before they actually get this underway, Mr. Kracz?
And before training camp, I've got 2 weeks of vacation lined up prior to training camp starting.
Where are you and your big neck and your wife going?
Got to recharge the batteries.
Well, we're heading to Niagara Falls for a few days, and then we're going to go to Ocean City, New Jersey, where we go every summer for a week with the family. My sisters, big gang of us, about 20 of us. We rent a couple places all close by and spend the week together. And by the end of the week, we're all at each other's throats and we're ready to move on.
Very nice.
I got 2 weeks lined up. So I'm psyched for that.
Enjoy. Yeah. We'll get you from down at the shore. We want you to take the computer out, sit it on your lap with the ocean behind you.
Yeah. We're going to get Weinberg on. He might be doing that from Cape May. So.
Hey, he'll be out on a paddleboard in the middle of the bay.
Yeah, he might be. He might be.
Ed, feel free paddle away the rest of your day. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks, guys. See ya.